Hey guys, my name is Matthew Mercer. I'm a voice actor and the Dungeon Master for Geek and Sundry's Critical Role, and welcome to my video series about tips and trips for burgeoning and/or classic GMs and DMs. Today's topic is going to be preparing for the unexpected, which is a large part of the actual GMing experience. Preparation is the key to not being prepared. I know that sounds crazy, but you can definitely be comfortable pulling stuff out of your ass, and you'll be doing that a lot. But the best that you can kind of think of alternative scenarios or give loose notes as to other possibilities that your players might dive into does help you be a little more prepared for the crazy. Especially if you've had some time with the party and with those players, you kind of get a feel for their game style and the type of questions they ask, the type of off-the-cuff actions they take, and the type of directions they tend to veer towards. So once you get a feel for that, you can start preparing a little bit some alternate paths from the main story that you've been developing. But even so, the players will always surprise you. You'll be caught off guard, they'll do things that make you go, okay, and you just gotta kind of roll with it. You don't want to deny the players their actions, unless they're completely ridiculous and over the top and don't fit within the world or the setting. For the most part, you want to let them go along with their choices, as cockamamie and weird as they may be, because those will make for some of the best stories, for one, and they'll take you in places as a GM that are hilarious and fun. I get most of my fun when I'm thrown off the mark as a dungeon master. I like kind of the mental gymnastics that are part of it, and the kind of back and forth with the players, creating this unknown future path. It's a really exhilarating experience for me, and it's scary at first. Trust me, I understand, but it's really exhilarating. And on that note, too, you don't want to try and railroad the players too much. I know you've built this wonderful story that you're working so hard to get them through, and you will be able to keep them on that story path for the most part, unless they're completely insane. But if they veer a little bit left and right, let them steer out of the way. Let them find some weird side elements, and you can always guide them back in slowly. But don't try and force them on that particular path or get frustrated if they begin to veer from your set plan, because that's kind of what really makes RPGs its own special genre of gaming, aside from other formats, is you can do that, and it all is fluid. It's wonderful. Don't be afraid to roll with some of the stranger player choices, just because it can be interesting. Just make sure you can help justify in the moment how it would work in that world. If a player comes to a locked door and they're like, I want to unlock it, that makes sense. If instead they're like, I want to see if I can get this vial of acid to slowly dissolve parts of the wood, then set up a barricade that could push and focus all the energy, you're like, sure, go for it, give it a shot. Let them build their strange idea and give that, especially if it's very, very unwieldy, that very, very mildly slight chance it could function. And if it succeeds, fantastic, and explain the awesome, fantastic success it was. If it fails, which is more often than not, explain the awesome, fantastic, epic failure that it was. And these are the stories that you'll continue to tell for a very long time. Just to reiterate on your preparation for the session, parallel avenues are a really, really good focus, and try and have those side pocket aspects at your disposal, just in case they veer off to the sides. Ways to help with that, I find, keeping a list of fantasy names nearby. Just find online. You can find, or sci-fi names if you're using a sci-fi genre game, or if you're using a modern game. Just having a list of names that would fit in your world or your setting near your session, setup, allows you to pull quickly if you have to spontaneously create somebody that doesn't exist. Like, you go into the hospital. Okay, you run into a nurse. The nurse is named David. Can I help you? I'm David. It makes it feel and gives the illusion that you know exactly what you're doing. That's part of the fun. It's the whole kind of Wizard of Oz element. Don't look behind the curtain. You want to stay in control. And having those resources near you really help with that. So having a list of player names is really good. You can also create a small cache of unused random NPCs that you can flesh out a little. You can create bartenders. You can create policemen. You can create, space bounty hunters. You can create all sorts of characters that aren't really part of the story, and they're just kind of in your box waiting to be pulled out in case something like that happens. And that's a really cool thing to have at your disposal, and you'll be very thankful you kind of did that preparation for yourself. Also, you can make a list of small, minor story hooks. There's a lot of great resources online you can search, or look in your resource books for your various RPGs to find good story hook elements. There's lists and tables you can roll up, and those are really cool if you have to create an NPC to try and decide what their story is. Dave, the nurse, you talk to him for a bit, and you find out that he's missing his left arm, and you ask him why, and he says because it was taken by demons. That would be a terrible story, but it's a story that came out of nowhere, and now the player's like, we gotta find Dave's arm. It's cool to have that resource at you at your disposal because it makes you more comfortable with the environment, more comfortable with the improvisation, and makes the storytelling more fluid. Also, a cool little cache of rewards, also good to have in case they do some weird stuff on the side and succeed in an unplanned way. You can have a couple of magical items or cool laser weapons or, you know, some sort of bit of information about the story that is just sitting in this amorphous pile for use in case the opportunity arises for you to gift it to the players. So it's cool to have those in your pocket as well. So overall, the key of improvisation for your games is comfort. And that can come from taking improv classes if you have the opportunity. Those are very helpful, even if you don't plan to go into performance arts. Just the improvisational skill is useful in all facets of life, I've found, and this is very much so. But also just as you get more comfortable with it, all these little notes, all these little things you can do to prepare for the unexpected, I think are tremendously helpful in building your fast storytelling skills and to maintain a consistent narrative, regardless of what the players throw at you, which is kind of fun. But thank you for watching. We'll have other episodes of this you can watch up on geekandsundry.com, and I'll see you next time.